Hello, everybody. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. I'm excited to be in a room filled with people who care about deepening community engagement. I'm going to tell you about a couple of things we do in Wilmington, Delaware. While I was preparing for today, I talked to a friend of mine who compared the JCC to an eruv. An eruv, you may know, is a ritual enclosure in an Orthodox Jewish community permitting people to carry objects on Shabbat. But what's important here is the literal meaning of the word, which is blending or intermingling. And the original purpose was to allow people to learn, socialize, and be a community. I started thinking, what a great analogy to the JCC. The J serves the community as a place where people come together, where connections and communities are created and strengthened. For example, 14 years ago, my son's bris was held at the JCC. My daughter's 2-year-old class was also in attendance, but don't worry, they sat in the back. And 5 years ago, my dad's Shiva was held in the same auditorium. But that's personal. When my board treasurer passed away suddenly, his meal of condolence was also held at the JCC. He was a beloved man who left a wife and 3 children. Our auditorium was filled to capacity. I said to my president, I didn't get anything done today. And he looked at me and said, Ivy, you got a lot done today. And that reminded me. It reminded me that this is what it's about. This is my job. This is what I do. This is what the JCC is for. The board member who passed, Lee Goldstein, and his wife, Cindy, were actually a mixed marriage. Lee grew up conservative. Cindy was Orthodox. The JCC was the perfect place to bring everyone together. And now, what better place for Cindy to build a new life than by working at the JCC? In fact, I'd like to share with you some comments she wrote in the benchmarking staff survey. My family has been part of the Siegel JCC for over 20 years. It wasn't until the sudden and untimely death of my husband, a JCC board member, that the community wrapped itself around me, pulling me away from my black abyss. Within a few months of our loss, I found myself working here part-time, and soon enough, I went full throttle, throwing myself full-time into the mix of this warm and energized community. It has been almost 4 years since I suffered this traumatic loss, and I most definitely credit the JCC with helping me to breathe deeply and find my way back into life. I know many of you have had similar meaningful moments with your community. I'd like to encourage you to cherish these moments. Some people have made a file so that when things get tough, they can look back and remember those words, those memories, those moments, and remember why we do what we do. The blending and intermingling within the eruv of the JCC also includes our area clergy. Every Friday, all the clergy come to our JCC, to the Early Childhood Center, and perform Shabbat together. This gives them an opportunity to meet unaffiliated community members, but it also gives them an opportunity to interact with each other in an informal way. They socialize and talk, and they do this on a regular, every week basis. It's a wonderful way to build community. To many communities, this might be unbelievable, but if you invite them, maybe some of them will come. It has now become second nature for my community to see every denomination of our clergy celebrating Shabbat every week. From the ECC, the clergy head over to our senior center, some of them, to give our seniors a taste of Shabbat. Also, our clergy all voluntarily teach, along with other community leaders, in our adult Jewish classes. This may be unique, but it might just require you to ask. The blending and the intermingling of our eruv continues as our umbrella organization, the Jewish Federation of Delaware, recently moved onto our campus from a city location. We now share resources, we share a common space, and we're beginning to share back office staff and space. We started this with a newly hired joint CFO just last week. We plan to share a finance department and continue to collaborate in other ways. Our federation also leads a Federation Community Shabbat every year. It started the Friday night before the Super Sunday, and it's held at a different synagogue each year. So that way the synagogues don't hold services at their own synagogues, they all come together in the community. It's really beautiful. It really works to strengthen our community. It expands our eruv. In addition, our eruv is serving to bring together, socialize, and teach our non-Jewish community members. This community is a significant part and population in our membership. Not only would we not exist if we didn't have non-Jewish members, but we're incredibly strengthened by these members. A few years ago, our board voted unanimously to welcome non-Jewish board members onto our board. And today, one of our star executive committee members is not Jewish. In addition, many of our staff are not Jewish. The dedication and commitment of our non-Jewish staff and lay leaders foster education and support among the non-Jewish community in ways that the Jewish community cannot do alone. In fact, one early childhood student lit a Hanukkah menorah at her home, and said to her parents, I'd say she's not Jewish. One non-Jewish early childhood, it would just ruin the story, sorry. One early childhood non-Jewish child went home and lit a Hanukkah menorah at her home and said to her family, I'm a little bit Jewish. Most recently, our Roof expanded all the way to Israel. For the first time, and with the incredible help of JCC Association, we had a JCC family trip. It was the first time in Israel for many of the kids and a lot of the parents as well. This trip strengthened not only the families' connections to each other and to the JCC, but to Israel. These families are committed to making sure the JCC repeats this experience for others. When the JCC, or the Y, was established over 100 years ago, we taught Jews to be Americans. Now we're teaching American Jews and non-Jews Judaism and Jewish values. These are some of the ways we strengthen our community. During the past couple of days, I've heard similar and different stories from many of you. This is how it should be. This is our space. Let's share our stories. Let's expand our Roof. Thank you.
Very nice.